Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Objection! But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, the fact cannot be denied. Oh, chat. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How could he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, order, order! Order! Well, that went well. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Well, we have one portion left in the trial. We're so close, chat. Exactly. Shake your head, chat. So we're in the home stretch now. February 25th, 1206, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Everybody ... Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. To top it off, you call me here. Seen happier people at funerals. He said literally the same thing last time. Take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here. She asked me to give you this if there's a break in today's trial. I love there's like a dummy chick on the front for evidence law. Like, I like to think she gave us the equivalency of this world's, like, evidence law for dummies. Oh no. Look at it, chat. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. I think the first time I played this, I mixed myself up and game overed myself. I was so annoyed. I'm like, no, I'm at the opposite of that. No. I was like, I'll try not to game over. We'll see, though. Okay, we know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of police department. The chief prosecutor also wanted to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law from a Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Baby's first law degree, pretty much. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, Phoenix. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? I am still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth! The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she was unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. I was gonna say the morbid humor would be like, unlike that other detective, right? Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. ... exclamation mark, chat. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 1252, District Court, courtroom number 9. Bang. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. I don't think that's how that works, but sure. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement. We're just throwing all the rules away now, chat. But a very effective one, is it? It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. It really is, Phoenix. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. It's Mike Meekins. Can you imagine? Take that. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? Phoenix ... As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Yeah, it would have been amazing if we called Larry Butts. It's a shame he's not in this. Maybe that's how you could tell it's a bonus case, because it doesn't go back to Larry Butts. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant, the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Nice. Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. Larry designed the trophy. Oh, that would have been great. That would have been a great tie-in that was just something stupid that he added. There are still things... Oh, excuse me. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? It's not like they haven't shown him creating things. So it could have been his weird lopsided trophy. That would have made his first attempt at a jar or something. Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it to you if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Oh, don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Weapons in a courtroom, and it just flashes over to the cowboy, shaving again. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Bang. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. The power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, I better hit him hard and fast. Okay, let me think about this. So if you're feeling pressing won't work for the most part, at least not right away. So let's go to the had nothing to do with the forgery. Can we just immediately present without pressing? What happens if I press here? Hold it. I'm gonna see if this penalizes us, and then going forward, I'll pick and choose. So you're saying forgery had already taken place by the time you had arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I understand how Lana must have felt. Moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you better be I can't talk today. You'd be better off staring at the court record. Alright, so he's saying he's a smooth talker. Okay. So, let's see. The game just gave us a hint that we have to forge the evidence, or prove that it's forged evidence. So I think we just present the urn then at that point, if we're not going to get another statement from him. Let's present the unstable jar. I feel like this might be our most used piece of evidence so far. Objection! You claim you have nothing to do with the forgery. Better hit him hard and fast, tackles Gant. I was gonna say, if they tackle him out the window, then Gumshoe can live out his dreams. Assuming he's the one tackling. I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Bang. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you're involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who stuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? Objection. However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further. He'll end up paying to work. Poor Gumshoe. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put 2 and 2 together. You're telling me, Demon Gant. Holy, trying to get Phoenix to agree to anything is outrageous. Witness testimony, evidence of forgery. Yeah, they're literally pulling the how do I know you haven't done the bad things I've done? Yeah, they really are doing it. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. They were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Haji, in return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? Are these guys telepathic? Never a good sign. Well, I don't think, as much as I want to present something for this, I don't think I could do anything there. Let's try to reason it out. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me in any way. It would, but let's see if we can get him to make a new statement. Hold it. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is at least one very large benefit you reap from all of this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh? The resolution of SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, it's already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger. Might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself, and you did it for someone else. One moment. There we go. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. You heard it, chat. We gotta arrest me, myself, and I immediately. There, it's out in the open now. Haji, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Excuse me. Wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there's nothing in it for me. Oops. This is going closer to where I think we need to go. Let's press again. So if you remember, chat, we need to still draw the connection between him and Lana Sky. So this is getting us pretty close to what we need to do, but maybe not close enough. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I truly care about is yours truly. That girl. Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. Seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Would there have been something in it for him? Yes, Phoenix. Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Point out accomplice time, chat. True. Why not help out anyone for their sake? But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you are positively determined to betray the chief. As a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Bang. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Well, I mean, there's only one other person, let's be honest, chat. I don't even know if this is worth asking the chat for worth. It's like, it's fine. We need to hook in Lana. Now from here, let's see what happens. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in light of circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. The only person he cares about is yours truly. Wow, me, myself, and I are gonna be upset. Yeah, that's true. The lies just keep building, chat. The web always adding new layers, forever being woven. Self-profit? What do you mean? The SL9 incident was resolved. Lana Sky was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me, despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Wow, that's a big F for the judge there. Oh wait, you must mean puppet isn't someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Oh, which would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he said right O without the W, you're right. We got it on the official court transcript, so we just point and be like, that's what he said, it's all over. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Wow, he's just actively threatening us, essentially. Just, what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Bang, bang, bang. Order, order, order. I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Bang, chat. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Yeah, we straight up threw Edgeworth under the bus. We're kind of the worst, actually. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. All right then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. I'll let chat think for a few moments if they want to take a guess. I blew through that entire thing of water, chat. Phoenix Wright, dry mouth. So, chat has been given a few moments to decide on their own, to think about it. So let's think about what would tie him to the murder. Chat's gonna guess the trophy. It's not the attorney's badge. I'm gonna preemptively say that before someone says it. It is not Goodman's ID. It is not the King of Prosecutors trophy. It's not the knife. It's not the parking stub. It can't be the Blue Badger panel. It's not the autopsy report. It's not Goodman's note. It's not the cell phone. It's not the parking lot floor plans. Yeah, see the all. It's not the crime photo. It's not the victim's shoe. It's not the switchblade. I mean, it's kind of important, but we're not tying it specifically to this yet. It's not our fluid. It is our ID card record. Remember, chat, we have that mysterious 7777 we never tied with a name. Let's go ahead and tie his name to that 777. Let's present it. Take that. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There's one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777 7777. Sorry, but there's no way you could prove that's my card number. I know they missed a good opportunity. Either all fours or all sixes would have been good. Depending on which unlucky numbers or devil numbers you're trying to invoke. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was all 7s. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Uh-oh, chat. Angry face. Look at that twitch. Bang. Order, order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Bang. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I could go anywhere I want. I don't like how that was phrased. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? Hadn't seen him in days. Objection! You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant. I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. He goes to the evidence room to do his business. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. Bang. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. Objection. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? Bang. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. I'll give Chad another moment to think about this. What evidence do we have that would have made him go potentially to the chief of police? So let's start filtering out the evidence. I'm sorry, chat, it's still not the attorney's badge. Let's go through. It's not his ID. Well, it kind of is and it kind of isn't. It's not the trophy, it's not the knife, it's not the parking stub, it's not the Blue Badger panel, it's not the autopsy report, it's not the note, it's not the cell phone, it's not the floor plans, it's not the crime photo, not the victim's shoe, not the switchblade, not the testing fluid, or the card record, or the fingerprint set, or the screwdriver. It is this piece of evidence which says can only be submitted to the chief of police. Got him, chat. Take that! Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Would it be more accurate? Jake Marshall stole it. So, Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. The blue badge, oh no. He would have had to have given that report to the chief of police. Yet you were in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. What is this, JoJo? Is he gonna predict what we're gonna say, chat? I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Phoenix ... Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Objection. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was used only once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. You really lent it to Detective Goodman. It would have been found on his body. No! Well, that was a pose. Bang, bang, bang. Chief Gant, you didn't. He did JoJo pose us, Judge. He did straight up JoJo pose. He did like the Dio re-pose briefly, I think. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as the place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. Chris with the whoa. Objection! You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh? So you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. Uh-oh, chat, that's a hint. That's a hint for chat. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. The attorney's badge. You're right, chat. It's the attorney's badge. Let me just go ahead and... Oops, I accidentally presented the screwdriver instead of the badge. My bad, chat. Finger slipped. Take that! This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Bang. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Bang, bang, bang. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Stark took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe. Your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're gonna make it for the early bird special. Objection! But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? Police Chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Objection. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Maybe laugh-worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? If you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I and Lana disposed of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body? Do I have any concrete proof? Ooh, I'm gonna let people that haven't played before answer this. I'm not even gonna give a hint. What would you have done in this situation, chat? So he's threatening to get off the hook. I'll go through the evidence slowly in case chat thinks they have the evidence. So we'll give a reminder of everything that we have. It was allegedly dancing. Lana's cell phone. Parking lot floor plans. Got the crime photo again. That's out from the difficulty of the choices to wake up in a coffin. I present the badge, but that's just me. Chat just going with the troll answer. That's fair. Well, Chan. It'd be funny if we threw the evidence law book at him, I'm not gonna lie. It's a reminder of all the ridiculous amount of pages of evidence this case has. If you had guessed that you should present evidence, you would be wrong. You actually have none. I have no proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. Trilogy? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble when you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Udgy, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer at our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Objection, chat. Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. The Chief Gan has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right here in this very room. Then we picked the judge. Can you imagine? Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Larry Butts. I know, chat. Such a missed opportunity. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth. Lana Sky, chat. Take that. The defendant, Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Bang. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. I mean, now he's just actively, openly intimidating witnesses. I think this is ridiculous. Yeah, ... exclamation mark indeed, Edgeworth. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right then. We got a lunch date to meet. You're not gonna do anything about that, Judge? Okay, if there aren't any further objections. Yeah, Judge, I object to whatever that was. The court is now in recess. We're so close to the end, chat. February 25th, 2:04 p.m., District Court. Defendant Lobby, number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Oh, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place that top-knotted girl you used to work with. What do you mean, Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. How long does this arc go? We're at the final part, guaranteed. It's not the longest villain arc I've ever played through. It's long, but some of those other games. Some of those other games. Remember what the judge said. There's certain risks to be considered. Here we go. Risks. What did he mean by that? It's simple. The chief refuses to testify. The opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh, not who I thought was saying it. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. Been listening to the trial from the gallery. So, she heard everything. It's been going on. Emma, sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I must feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all, just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. You want to blame anyone. Blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. To be continued. We're given a brief breather. Blah. Let's go ahead and save. February 25th, 2:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Bang. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Mrs. Skye. Yeah, I kind of forgot how much was in between, to be honest. I would have called it earlier, to be honest, like 2 days ago, but that's fine. I did say I would complete it, so I'm going to complete it, no matter how long this takes. And remember, you were under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Bang. Now then, your testimony, if you will. Can't imagine you trying to do the entire chapter in one sitting last week. Yeah, I forgot how long the in-between is. Like, there's not a lot of choices we make, but there's just a lot of dialogue right towards the end. It's very backloaded. The beginning was not too bad, but it got very backloaded with dialogue as we try to wrap up the 2 cases. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gan. Like, think about the investigation only took like about an hour-ish, but like everything else has been the trial. The trial is taking a very long time. Witness testimony, Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. Judge, come on, seriously? That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've gotta help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah. This is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay. Let's press on when I found the body. Hold it! You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's back. What? But but Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, I was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. Bang. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I mean, I guess we have to just keep forcing her to talk about the fabrication of evidence. So I guess I'm just gonna press this statement since I think this is new. So let's read what it says. Broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Hold it. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. ... exclamation mark. My head isn't that bad. Maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. I don't think it's about planting the knife, because that would be, like, the evidence of the kill. I'm guessing move the body, because we're trying to imply that we need it to be a very specific way for Gant. So let's choose this option. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Bang. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. I mean, I think we just immediately present it. There's so many reasons to go with why this would be it. Like, between the writing on it, the position of the room, like, there's so many angles they'll go into. I'm curious what Phoenix will pick when I pick this. Objection! Miss Sky, I understand how you feel, let alone how she got it in the safe. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? Yeah, that one piece just happened to slip away into a safe conveniently, right, chat? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? A simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. I was gonna say, we're just gonna keep presenting the jar, I feel, over and over until we get like the 5 million contradictions that are associated with this. So we started with that one, but that still doesn't rule out how the piece got into the safe, or, you know, that she had quote unquote gotten all of them. So we'll see what she says. Order, order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. It's at the, it's all at the Grand Line. She'll find it eventually, in like 1,000 chapters. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are, about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Bang. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Jar is the answer to all life's questions for the main image of our Lord and Savior, the Blue Badger. It's true. We're gonna present it probably at least one more time. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. I'm just gonna present the jar again. Only 1,000 chapters. Good luck to her finding the One Piece that fast. Okay, more accurately in 10,000 chapters. How's that? You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. I mean, I'm just gonna present the jar. Like, did anything change? Like, she didn't get all the pieces. I mean, just jar. I'm just gonna shake the jar at her until she tells me something different. Objection! Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? It's an interesting statement, Lana, but consider a jar, pretty much. I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. The night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. Bang, bang, bang. I mean, he would had to have arrived. You would think, just from the standpoint of the fact that he was interviewing said person and he got away, that both the prosecutor with him and himself would have arrived before her. She didn't even know that anything had occurred. So I'm glad we finally at least got to this fact. It's been bothering me for a while, chat. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? Objection. I'm afraid that's unlikely. Pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Huh, can you believe that? Objection. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. The person discovered the scene prior to the witness. Hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time he was looking for Dark downstairs, oh, that was a quick objection. Objection. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why'd he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Grant arrived on the crime scene prior to the witness. Proceeded to break the jar. And purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Ooh, she better thought I'm gross. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defensive attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. Guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe Wright after all. What do you mean, Wright? So then, do you tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But evidence was fabricated behind your back. And Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. All right, the witness may testify once more for the final time. There you go, chat. The final witness testimony. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. My Chief Gant helped me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if all it really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable! The body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Wow, she did it in the most convoluted way ever to help us. Way to really draw out the trial, Lana, if you thought that earlier. Bang. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana says she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Well, let's learn about evidence, lol, chat. Yo. Oh. I actually just wanted to learn about the bird on the back, actually. I kind of forgot that would advance the plot. I just like, oh, it's gold. I got baited, chat. I wanted him to talk about the bird. I'm so sad now. I'm sorry, chat. Hey, there's a picture here. Yeah, I don't care about that. We're going back to this. Oh, now I can't look at it? That sucks. Never mind. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh. Oh my. This is an actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. So I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had arranged everything. Lana's picture, crime scene photo from the case 2 years ago. Wait a minute, hold on. Does that sentence, I don't think that sentence makes sense, right? Lana's picture, then you go crime scene photo from the case 2 years ago, taken. Not taken from the case 2 years ago? Feels very odd. It feels very oddly formatted there. Lana's picture inserted into the court record. Yes, Mr. Wright. That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? We'll never know about the bird. I'm sorry, chat. What's this? I'm remembering about the handprint. It's a handprint, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Dango. Exactly, Kirk. I'm like, wait a minute. I corrected it when I was saying it because, like, my eyes did not want to take that sentence in and take it the way it was. It wanted to reformat it. That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Bang. Very well. Defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. Hold it. Oh, look who's back, chat. Back again. Come now, Uji. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Oh, Gant, you should have seen the other four. They were ridiculous. Chief Gant. What, now you want to make me out as a bad guy too? We're lawyers / detectives, not literature majors. That's true. If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my own defense. Objection. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. We did have a parrot take the stand. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone else does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? You can't be serious. There you go. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? Show that piece of evidence now. Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. Anything... Oh, if you leave out anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. Can't afford to make the wrong decision. Did I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed the marshal? Let Jack think about it for a moment. But I'm going to choose... Cannot show the evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant? You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? Oops. What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. I made it look like the blame lay with her sister. That's when she saw the scene. She would ask for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. Had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body, move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I had 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. I mean those 2 items in your safe. But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? Would you take me for a fool and make police chief by dumb luck? See this jar fragment? I had the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. Objection. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Oh, some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gan? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I'm gonna have to do that, being chief and all. And it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Bang. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. Could have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. We'll give Chad a moment to think about what they would have done in this situation. So this time, we're going to show the evidence. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Bang. All right then, let's see this conclusive evidence. Evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Well, let's go present the piece of cloth, chat. Take that! Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes! Unless you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. Handprint on the leather. Must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean, could not have been forged. Must have been authentic, conclusive evidence. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean, you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Bang. Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Oops, Emma Sky. Take that! Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Bang, bang, bang. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along. You still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. Hold it. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Huh, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. Phoenix ... You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. Can't everybody's concealed evidence? Is there a single person in here that has not held onto evidence they shouldn't have? The answer's no. Literally everybody did it. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the judge did too. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? You're going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you were absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Bang, bang, bang. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. So there you go, chat. No pressure, but you know, get it wrong, you might fail the case. So let's go through all of our evidence. More importantly, the last 2 pieces of evidence we acquired. So I think at this point, chat, now that it's been brought up as important, we can now present this evidence. So if she took a photo of the murderer, why would the piece of cloth be missing at this point? Let's go ahead and present. Take that! And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. Chest is soaked with blood. It's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, we're also pointing out the fact that there's, I guess, fine. We're going more the route that it's not covered in blood. That's fair. That's fair. Whatever. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Kind of what I was hinting at, but that's fair. That's fair. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor, impaled him on the armorer's sword. Then to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago, that you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. Objection, chat. Oh, that was close, Raito. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean, refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Bang. Order, order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Raito here concealed that piece of evidence. So we told him we didn't have any evidence to present at this point in time. Let's get back to that. We're gonna go for the ultimate plot twist, chat. Are you ready? It's not really a plot twist, but It's kind of neat. Chat, believe it or not, finally, a single rule in the Phoenix Wright universe is finally going to be relevant and followed. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. It's coming, yeah, it's coming. At the moment, that piece of cloth has ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Oh. Did you actually think you could best me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son. Bang. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Legal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? Can you imagine if you hit I did by accident like this late in the trial? Holy. I did not. I admit, I refused to present it at one point. So the evidence is illegal. Objection. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Oji, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe. Objection. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Bang. Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Chat. We're gonna use the power of the children's book. Take that! This is my proof, Your Honor. Basic law. I don't really know why we have to present this. Everybody should know this. But anyway, this is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Yeah, like, I don't know if I'd be proud about it. It's kind of like, as I said, like baby's first law. Like, Dummy's Guide to Evidence Law. There's so many alternatives. The fact that we needed a book for that is pretty sad. I don't think I would be excited for that, Phoenix. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth. Nothing more. What? See, it's written right here in this book. Second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Objection. Sorry, but can you recall, when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. The beginning of today's trial. That piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gann. Angry Fist. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. So we're asking him if he personally cut out the victim's vest, and it's reminding you that he said, oh yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. There's only one person who that could be. Damon Gann, the killer was you. No, Hmm. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. The evidence is transferred. I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. And all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Could you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There's too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker. As he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand this all over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me. I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. The accursed knife. Sleep well in Parameter? I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it nearly impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. Bloody handprint. Detective on Gumshoe's locker. It used to be known as the crime computer. Everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. And you put the body in my car? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk. What's the big deal? Make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Ugh. Leaving the prosecution's car aside. How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So, you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. Also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, how do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it, you and me. We're the same. Oh no, the "we're not so different, you and I" card is being played, chat. Look out. Hit all the tropes. Hit them all. Exclamation mark, chat. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go at it alone. ... from Edgeworth. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you, as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. I'm so sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here. And Worthy. These two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Demigamp betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. Why wouldn't you tell everything now? Okay, whatever. All that I've done these past 2 years. Oh, okay. Aside from the whole conspiracy, there's other things. Okay, that's fair. I was gonna say, I'm like, well, isn't that relevant? Question mark. All that I've done these past 2 years, from the time I had Gant help me forge evidence, up until today. Bang. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all of your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. ... exclamation mark. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might make it to the top. Uh-oh, she smiled, chat. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. ... exclamation mark from Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job. Bang. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes. I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. Oh no, it's been a long time, Lenneth, chat. It's already happened. A long time since I've already felt free. Oh, a long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. They Dwight and jailed her. Right, chat? Finally, someone in this universe is going to jail after all the ridiculous list of crimes that occurred in this trial. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already, you're telling me, Judge. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Confetti's here, chat. Yay! You just undermined years of cases and the trust in the system is completely shattered. Yay! You did it! Your entire 2-year prosecutor stint is possibly a lie. Yay! That is all. This court is adjourned. February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. At long last, it's finally over. It's like, it really was like literally every step of the way the legal system was a lie. The judge was basically in cahoots with the police chief for a while. Obviously, the police chief was in cahoots with the prosecutor in a more like actual serious crime way. Wow. Just big old wow, chat. Throw confetti. Yay! Everybody's career is destroyed. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. Going back to why Mia Fey thought highly of you, I owe you my thanks. Thanking everybody. Smiling again. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Phoenix ... Emma ... Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around all around while on duty. Top it off, you call me here. Seen happier people at funerals. Why does he keep saying that line over and over again? What happened? Where did the other lines go, chat? This is, I think, literally his third time saying it. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell you if you won't. Wow, chat. Just all the rules broken. Take a piece of paper, write them all down, crumple it, then burn it, because they're never gonna be referenced again. We got our one line of evidence law out, and we'll never bring it up again, chat. That was our one moment. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. I thought he was fired. I mean, they heavily implied it, but then I guess he didn't get fired. The writing with it's kind of weird with him, because they said for him to hand in his badge, he doesn't need it anymore. I guess technically he could have been in a position where he isn't a detective, but still works in the police agency. I mean, to me, when you hear about hand in your badge, normally that means you get fired, but whatever. That was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis? Asked Kent to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. Then again, the entire trial we were dismissed. I mean, yeah, she never really rehired us at any point. Big oops there. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, we're only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day, in hiding what I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you. Sis? I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Well, I guess if we're quoting future Phoenix, right, I guess she would consider herself a foolish fool. But who knows? Maybe if I'm in a good mood, chat, we'll try the second one. Although, as I said before, not thrilled, in particular with that final case. Oh boy, did I get annoyed while playing it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. Hug. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is to strive to make up for our own mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we find the way back to our rightful path. It is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt, watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Why are we here, just to suffer? Something like that. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? Well, you see, Phoenix, when multiple people are talking to us at once, we only see one at a time. We might have some kind of medical condition, I'm not sure. I just came to say, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right, well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. ... exclamation mark. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth? Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. We're not so different, you and I. We're seeing that scene again. Yeah, we don't need to flashback to something we literally saw like 20 minutes ago. No thank you, game. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. Big oops, given everybody he knows is either a criminal, a liar, or incompetent. He's in the wrong career, chat. And then he's also pretty bad at points. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth? Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gannon, your mentor, Manfred von Karma. ... exclamation mark. We're both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. That may be true. Think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You definitely could be charged with some misconduct for sure for trying to bolster the defense. ... exclamation mark. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Chat. The time has come. We're presenting the attorney badge. This is for you, chat. Take that! That might mean something to you, but I don't see it how it had anything to do with our partnership. Huh? Mr. Wright, it seems you still have a lot to learn as well. I did it just for you, chat. I'm not gonna lie. It was too tempting. We were like on the final scene. I couldn't resist. I guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth? If you'll excuse me, there's still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Edgeworth ... Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the, or excuse me, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you. You can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be going to. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. Oh no, the bird is back, chat. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. Next time in court, Edgeworth is the defendant again. I mean, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. How many of those baby bird books does she have? That's a good question. As for me, I think it's time I started a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? It's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Yeah, well, haha. You see, Mr. Wright here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Oh my gosh, we've gone full Blue Donna. No, Phoenix, no! Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys, let's go. The law only applies to evidence. That's true. Objection, chat. So if chat is curious, I'm pretty sure the right answer is the evidence list for those that want to see the alternate one. Again, it really just depends on how annoying it is to go back and redo these. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. Hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days as at the prosecutor's office. Still, I managed to find my way somehow. I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. We penalized you anymore. Be worse than firing you. Yup, that's what they said. Just goes to show. Can't shake me off that easily. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm gonna make detective. Oh, yes sir, then I could be just like that Dick Gumshoe. Oof. There's the badger for chat. The badger has died, chat. Rip badger. I just imagine Meekin's having an Eric Cartman voice. Maybe. What is it? Can't you say I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Star managed to sneak this into me. Seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. Even gave Bambina back her smile. You make sure Billy and the gang get their water. All I know, chat, is my throat is so raw right now. There's so many voices trying to do them. So we'll get to the end, but definitely that's it for now. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, put a new meal on the menu. The Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. It seemed to dig the turnabout theme. Top seller around exam time. So make sure not to eat it backwards. I'll never forget that young defense lawyer said, or what that defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left. Anyway, he said he's been doing something how many years? Well, anyway. I've got another trial to get to, so, oh no. I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Oh, Judge. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. Huh? What's going on? Can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. A little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Scientific investigation, chat. Oh no, we can rotate. But I want to learn about the bird. It won't let me. It's just gonna open to like the photo of people. I want the bird. Fine, whatever. Open up to the photo of them or whatever. Oh, chat, we got the Capcom logo. Whew, what a case. Saving content. Question. Is there any way to... No, not really. Oh, there is. Okay, so I have some episodes selected at least. For future reference. Oh, but I have to do it from the beginning? Oh, that kind of sucks. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. If I have to do from the beginning, no way. Absolutely not. No way, chat. I was curious if it let me go into the day select. If it let me go day select, I would show off more things. I don't love the series that much. I had fun for what it is. There we go, chat. The double murder. Let's chat a little bit. I guess we can watch the beginning again just for context. How much of that made sense now that you know how the case went? Yeah, if it had day select, I would have gone back, but nah. I'm not looking to redo those long chapters. So let's chat. Did a great Ace Attorney. It allows you to save mid-chapter. Are you able to with this? I didn't make other saves, though. So I would have to replay literally all of them in order to see the alternate choices. So it's like that ship has sailed. I would have needed to make another slot per episode per day, which I didn't do. That's fun. I mean, it's technically possible. I just don't want to replay literally the whole game. So it's like, no thanks. My curiosity is not that strong. I would have done it if there was day select and replayed part of the day, or like to go to specific trial portions. But nah, I don't usually like going back and playing, like, especially for something like a visual novel. I make my choice, I move on usually. But anyway, let's go ahead and close out the game. Let's give some final thoughts of this episode. This won't be the final thoughts of the thing altogether, though. You might do it later. Seeing all the alternate ending stuff. I was gonna say, nah, not for me. Let's listen to some Phoenix Wright as we talk. So how do I feel about this case? I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the reaction from Gant. I like the drawing of Gant. I don't know if I really liked this case overall, especially in context with the other Phoenix Wright cases. If you had not told me that this was a bonus case, I would have thought something was up with it, because it brings up a lot of points that are basically never referenced again when it comes to how they were handling the trials. And it mostly is just kind of a nonsense way to set up for the second game, from what I recall. Like, it's just there. I think the problem with it is that there's just too many gimmicks right at the end. Because we didn't see the main mechanic of what Phoenix Wright is probably best known for until at least the second game. I believe the second game introduces it. So to kind of make up for it, they just kind of did a bazillion mini games. It's like, not a big fan when it comes to that stuff. But I think from the overall, like, flow of it, is it the weakest case on there? No. Did I like it more than the previous one? No. I think what drags it down is, like, I think mostly the annoying officer with the megaphone really does annoy me, though. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't like that character. And I think part of the problem with that is, you know, there's always just kind of like, Phoenix Wright usually has a problem where there's usually like one or two like extremely not funny characters that kind of ruin the case. Like, I'll give another example for even earlier in the same game that we just played, where we had like the nerd character was like really not funny. to like borderline offensive, and that character was also really borderline offensive in a different way. So I just kind of like, ugh. Like, I'm definitely, if it's quote-unquote humor, I'm most definitely not the target for those. Yeah, like those are just kind of like the, oh yeah, those are the people you want to forget about, and you're like, thankfully they don't appear in later games for the most part. But you know, it does detract from it. And so while both games kind of dealt with both cases kind of dealt with two different cases, and they ended up being linked, I think this one, as I said before, just got kind of silly. I think even as we were pointing out with Dango in particular, like what is supposed to be happening, or the stakes, especially in that final trial with Gant, it just like, I feel like they forgot like mid-scene. Like, oh, you're not my lawyer. And then he's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll just be here for like the next 2 hours. Or like, oh, you know, oh, look at all this illegal evidence, which is like incredibly silly given how much BS we insert into the system. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many cases, even in like the same case, do we just present evidence without it going to the police officers, regardless of whether or not it is quote-unquote relevant? Like, we make it relevant by bringing it up, and it kind of tries to like catch-22 you into a bad ending where you present the evidence too early and you'll fail due to that. That's one of the bad endings you could get there. Thank you, Sad Music, for playing. But it's like, I don't know. It really just gets kind of Looney Tunes with it. It's not necessarily my biggest from the games I've played. It's not the worst with it that I've seen. It gets much worse in the second game. I haven't seen the third game at all. I just know in the second game, I was like, So I felt kind of shades of that, having played a little bit of the second game and coming back to this, where I'm like, ugh. They're saying we break rule number 2 like 90% of the time. Exactly. Like, it just doesn't flow. Like, they're trying to insert some random lore into it to make it seem really deep, but it like does not fit within the Phoenix Wright universe at all. It really doesn't, sadly. So like, maybe as like literally a standalone, it's fine, but in the package of the rest of the game, it just ends up raising like a million questions. And like, kind of like we were talking about before too, like even the state of like what was happening with Gumshoe was like not ultra clear, and they had to like re-explain it at the end that he wasn't fired. It's very odd. Just odd choices of phrases used with that in particular. As I said before, I did like the art of it. I'm not necessarily a big fan of a lot of the witnesses in this, and I think that's why I don't rate it as highly. I think a lot of that has to do with like the incredulousness of like Angel Star, where you're like fighting her every sentence, and then the game has like the audacity to say like, oh, this witness cannot be refuted, and you're like, seriously? Did they not witness like the hours we put in to try to deal with her? Or then like how like literally, think about in this case, how literally every single damn character we put on the stand lied to us. Not a single damn one told the truth, and it took forever because everybody had some like reasoning for it. So I feel like that kind of detracted from it overall. We needed some more straightforward witnesses. The closest we kind of got was like 20 minutes of Emma, like the entire case, and that's being generous. Everything else is just like a struggle to get them to do anything. Needs to wear Wendy old bag, something like that. Also, negative points. Where was Larry Butts? Chat called it out. They could have just had Butts made the urn. It could have just been something stupid. He could have been involved in everything. So sad, chat. They could have just made up more lore for him. But yeah, it's just overall, it's like, I think they want you to be kind of sympathetic towards Edgeworth. And if that was kind of the goal for this, is to humanize him, I feel like it also really failed hard in this case. It just shows like how messed up the system is, which I think is part of the intent with it. But at the same time, it's like, wow, Edgeworth, you have really bad character judgment skills. Like, literally everybody you've ever known is either a criminal or is just flat out, like, ridiculously incompetent, and there's nothing in between. And it's just, like, amazing he could do any kind of jobs. It kind of just makes me go, how did he even do anything? Yeah, and I felt like the previous case did that better, for sure. So if that was the intent for it, it was unfortunate. I think it's all supposed to segue, which is like kind of like the second game stuff. It's supposed to be why he's not as active in the second game. They tried backfilling a reason, but it's like, I'll be real with you, chat. I don't know how the judge has his job. I'm surprised Gumshoe still had a job. I don't know how Edgeworth had a job. I don't know how Phoenix had a job. Like, seriously, everybody committed some ridiculous crime at some point. Also, did you like the fact at the end of the case, by the way, we never got in trouble for breaking into the office? Did you notice that? we just straight up got away with the crime. Like, they were like, oh, I will press charges with you tomorrow. And that never happens. What happened? Why are we going to jail? Phoenix Wright universe, please explain. Him being a criminal doesn't make us any less guilty of our crimes. Is that how that works? Also, I do think this case conflicts with stuff that happens in later games, but I'm not going to go into more details. I feel like this sets up for something that doesn't make a lot of sense later, but whatever. No one's left to press charges, I guess. I don't know. So, it's not my favorite. It's like, parts of it are interesting, but there, I think, are more overall annoying characters that kind of detract it for me. So I will rate this above, like, the tutorial case. Although, honestly, tutorial case is kind of iconic, to be real with you. I'll probably rate it above some of the other cases. But it's like, it's never going to be like an all-time favorite for me, just because of some of those issues. Gant freaking out is up there, but like he is like the highlight through like the sludge you have to get through. Because I do think it drags on a little too long. In particular, like how many times did they really have to have like, I don't know, the gags with Gumshoe over and over showing up and interrupting, or things like, oh, I just happen to know that, you know, if the trial continues to this time, you're gonna come and deliver another key piece of evidence again and again and again and again. And I'm like, this is just getting ridiculous. Like, at this point, it's like, okay. Like, and then like the whole thing where it just makes our character come across really stupid with the book of evidence law. That's like literally 2 sentences. Like, it just comes off as just like incredibly sad how incompetent we are. Are we gonna go through the other games? I don't know. Probably not. I have to be in a really good mood for it. And I'm gonna let you know, I was not a fan of the second game. It's what made me quit the series. Yeah, I just feel like... in terms of completion, if we're just comparing just specifically Von Karma's and Gant's, all of Von Karma's poses building into the actual evidence of the final part of the case just brought it to me to a different level from Gant. Gant just kind of went like Super Saiyan, which is kind of funny in its own way, but I don't think for me, I'm gonna remember that as much as him doing like the crazy vampire scream in the middle of nowhere with the court clutching his arm, followed by like him doing the headbangs. Like those were very memorable because the first time it happens, it literally comes out of nowhere. And then the second time it happens, it's like, oh, that is something else. So I don't know, chat. We'll talk about it. If chat wants to use their vote for me to play more of the games, we'll give it a break. I need at least a break because going to literally, it is now 4:04 a.m. at the time of this conversation that we're having. And having a ridiculously long time playing through Phoenix Wright. I like portions of it. There's little bits of the game that do annoy me, and I think some of it was shown in this case in particular. It's one of those things where like I know what to do, but either due to like me not getting exactly what the game wants, I'll end up getting like a big time waste. Like trying to manipulate the urn will always annoy me. I remember not doing well with it the first time I played with it. I didn't do well with it on a repeat. It's very annoying. It's just those kinds of things that I think detract from the case overall, where I'm not going to look fondly back on most of the case because of stuff like that. Where it's like, I'm rolling my eyes because like a mechanic they've introduced, I've missed like one thing in the room, where otherwise I would literally just spray the whole screen rather than doing it methodically. It just feels like a big time waster. So that's how I feel with some of those mechanics. I think they kind of improve it in some of the spin-off games, and that's why I think I was okay with the spin-off games. But in terms of the main one, I'm not a fan of everything that they add there. I think the closest I came to liking it was seeing like the pictures where you flip over the evidence and it had something on the back. I thought that was interesting. Second is the lowest of the series. Yeah, as I said before, I had a lot of struggles with it. So if we end up doing the second game, remember this conversation where I was talking about those little annoyances? Oh boy, if we play the second game, does it have a lot of those? I think for the most part, you know, playing through as a semi-blind playthrough, at least on this episode, like, I didn't remember every conversation piece, and I did have to piece together a lot of the logic, and sometimes I got it wrong. But I think overall, I wanted to reflect on like how easy it is that just missing like one piece of evidence or like one clue can result in a lot of aimless wondering. So I almost got through the whole playthrough without doing it, but because this case was so long, I honestly just forgot pieces of it. So I think from the standpoint of, you know, the future Phoenixes, I don't know if I want to play with a guide, at least for the investigation sections or something. To me, it's just not enjoyable when it comes to those things. We're at least given hints in the later games that there's something else you could do with the person to advance it other than just mindlessly presenting every piece of evidence, which is not very entertaining to me. So I'm sorry that it did come up more than once, but I do want you to know that is kind of the classic Phoenix Wright experience, where there's just like some stupid conversation you need to trigger because you didn't investigate something twice, or you need to then come back with a different piece of evidence from somebody else. And sometimes it flows, and for the most part in this case it did work. But as I said before, when you're scrolling like multiple screens looking for something small, it can be kind of annoying. So we'll see. I don't remember how many gimmicks were in the second game other than like the gimmick of the series, I would say. But we'll see if we end up doing it. But for now, chat, I think that's the wrap up for this case. So we'll do further discussions after we say goodbye to YouTube. So if you did watch to this point in the video or the VOD, I'd just like to say thank you again for watching. Hope to see you again in the next part.